Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, what's going on, man? We are back live and in person, face to face.
Yes, we are. Cheers.
Nice to see you again, man. I missed you.
You've been to the four corners of the earth, and, well, I haven't, but...
Yeah, well, I've been close to them. I don't know that I actually went to that location, but yeah. Or actually, I'm thinking about two different things. Anyways, the four corners of the earth. Yeah, but there's the four corners that
Arizona
is out there near where I was.
Yeah,
but
you can literally stand or not stand. Well, I guess you could stand but you can you can be in four states at the same time. Yes, at four corners.
Yeah, have not been there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty neat to know that you've done that.
I mean,
cool. 2 is easy, stand on the border, but 4, that's cool.
Yeah. So how you been, man?
I have been outstanding, thank you.
You're way overdressed for the scenario tonight.
I know. I was in the big city today, and I didn't have time to go home and change, and so straight here, and here we are.
Well, thanks for taking your tie off. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it was bugging me. Plus, the other thing that just drove me crazy all day today is I had to wear a mask. Oh, Lord. I cannot stand that.
Yeah.
I mean, the degree to which I cannot stand that is it's hard to even.
Yeah, masks are not beard friendly.
They are not. They are not.
Yours isn't quite as long, but it puts this divot like all the way across my beard. It's not good. And then it has this look of like 70s bikini. Yeah. Anyways, that's a visual you're gonna have to shake now.
70s bikini. No, I'm not. I'm just gonna change the subject. I'm loving that it's fall out there. Yeah. And the weather's cooling off.
Yeah.
And we get to use the fireplace, and all is well.
Oh yeah, plenty of use for that now. That's no doubt. That's cool.
Right. And you're back from all over the place, but Sedona, that's the one that I got. Sedona, Arizona. That's a cool place.
Yeah, everybody I talked to, yourself included, before we went out there, just talked about how beautiful it was, and you can hear that from folks. It doesn't do it justice until you actually get there and see that place live and in person. And I would encourage anyone who has the ability to do so to get there and check it out. There's some vortexes there that they talk about the energy coming from the earth and so on. I did, and my wife and I had this conversation. There just seems to be an incredibly peaceful air about the place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're right.
I don't know. I mean, obviously those things probably have some contributing effect to that. But yeah, just a cool place.
Cool place to chill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very relaxing. Well,
good. I'm glad you did it. And
we were there for a wedding. Beautiful wedding.
Okay.
Yeah, just outstanding. Trip from start to finish, outstanding.
And the weather's good a lot there. It's pretty much every day.
It's a little dry for my taste.
Yeah.
But, I guess if you stayed there long enough, you might get used to it. But I don't particularly like it.
Like you said, for those of our listening audience who have not been to Sedona, put it on your bucket list. That's a place you got to go, just because of the beauty of it. If for no other reason, do that.
Yeah.
Hey, before we dig into to our topic tonight, I also wanted to give a shout out once again to Irfan Ali. Our guest last week.
I have received quite a few comments from folks.
I have too.
On watching and listening to that, and how informative it was, and how they've learned more about the Muslim religion watching or listening to that podcast than they've, ever known at all from anywhere. So I think that was very cool, and I certainly appreciate his time. And what an interesting guy just to talk with. He's just got a great way about him.
And actually, you've summed it up perfectly. I tell you what, I thought I knew some stuff, and I did. I knew a little bit of stuff, but there were all kind of things that he, shed additional light on that were amazing. Really interesting stuff. So I got some positive feedback. So Irfan, thank you. If you're listening to this one, we appreciate your time and your talents last week.
Yes, indeed.
And we appreciate it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, thanks for inviting him.
You're welcome. Yeah.
All right, so what are we talking about tonight?
This is a good topic. Is it? I'm going to put this one in the category of mental hack.
Okay.
So mental hack.
All right.
I know you're all like, what is that? What's this mental hack? In a phrase, predetermined thought predicts present action.
Well, to borrow a phrase, what the heck does that mean?
What that means is, as you go through life, as you go through your day, if you visit the occasion, if you visit the occurrence in your mind before you actually get there physically, or you arrive there at that point, you sort of visualize where you're going and what you're going to be doing and what you want to accomplish. When you actually do get there, later in your day, later in your week, later in your year, you will end up behaving in large measure just exactly like you predicted in your head. That you forecasted in your head. And so what that means is, if you make a habit of doing that, that's the mental hack part of it. If you get into the habit of thinking about something that you want to accomplish, you want to do, you want to go, how you want to behave, and so on, and you rehearse that in your head, it's no different than athletes visualizing, what they're going to do in their performance, or a musician visualizing a band member, a lead guitarist saying, this is, when I play the concert tonight, this is what I'm going to do. So that's it. That's simply it. But I'll just stop right there.
Yeah, and there's huge value in that. It absolutely works. I wholeheartedly believe it, have practiced it, and know personally that it works. And you're right. The folks that you mentioned, the athletes and musicians, and especially anybody doing any kind of performance like that. See yourself doing it in your mind's eye before you actually do it.
Right.
And the cool thing about that is you can translate that into any aspect of your life. You don't have to be a professional athlete or a musician. You could be a salesperson that's about to go into a meeting with a client that you just absolutely want to land, and spend some time leading up to that meeting visualizing how you see this interaction going back and forth, and visualize the successful outcome of closing that sale with that person or that company. You can use it that way. Or I've given the example before of dealing with or having a difficult conversation with somebody, right? So maybe you're in a supervisory position and you have to counsel someone, and it's causing you a great deal of stress to think about that conversation, right? So visualize how you want it to go. See it all in like I said, in your mind's eye before it actually happens. And I can't sit here and say that it'll occur exactly the way you visualized it. But what I will say, it'll be pretty damn close.
Yeah, that's why it's the word predicts.
Right.
I predict this is going to happen, and so it's not a perfect science, but you do a very good job of stacking the odds in your favor when you go through this mental hack to do this. And you mentioned some examples, but the thing that's been interesting to me over the years, as I've learned how different people who I know of or respect from past history have used this technique to improve their own lives, to improve their own performance. And I think I'm going to say the name right, Goethe. He's the ancient philosopher. Right. I think he might be German, but I've forgotten. Anyway, he would, in order to use this to his advantage, he would sit down quietly in a chair, close his eyes, and imagine having conversations with people that were from past history, or people that he considered to be particularly wise, and talk through them an issue, and hear how he would sort of think they would answer, and then that would impact how he would think about how he was going to behave. And I know it sounds, I don't know.
Sounds a little hokey.
It sounds a little hokey, but
that's okay though. It worked for him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wrote down some examples, and we'll talk about them. But I think if you spend a few minutes in the morning when you're getting ready to start your day, and you rehearse your day in your head, you look at your calendar. If you're busy and you keep a calendar and you think, I got this meeting and I got this to go, and I'm going to spend time with my kids, and I'm gonna, and you just sort of run through those things, and you're thinking about, what's my energy level going to be? What's the tone of my voice going to be when I'm having this interaction? How am I going to behave in this circumstance if this happens? And you just sort of rehearse it. And this can be done in seconds, by the way. You can take an hour and do it, but you can literally think through each event in a matter of seconds and sort of rehearse it, and you can decide in advance, this is how I want the outcome to be, and rehearse that in your head, right. And then when you get there, all of a sudden you're there.
Yeah, and the thing that keeps running around in my head right now is, and I can't remember who to attribute this quote to. You might know. The quote is something to this effect: change your thoughts and you'll change your life. And
absolutely.
That's absolutely true, and that's absolutely in line with what we're talking about here. Your thoughts drive your behaviors, and your behaviors drive your results. Yep. And that's a chain, right? So if anything's broken in that chain, then you got to go figure out where the break is and fix it. So if you're looking at your results, right, so that's the evidence of your performance, then you got to figure out, if the results are what you want, then repeat what you've been doing. If they're not, then figure out what's broken in the chain. Are your thoughts not right, or are your behaviors or actions not in line with the thoughts to produce the outcome that you want? And you can make adjustments from there, but it really starts with those thoughts.
Yeah. Another example is just physically. I know that when I'm feeling good physically, which is most times, not for any reason other than I'm fortunate, but you can, if you're trying to get stronger and you're trying to be more flexible and you're trying to be more toned, and you hold yourself in a certain way, a certain posture, and you think about, I'm going to go through this day behaving as if I'm healthy. I'm going to walk, with a limber step. I'm going to hold myself up with a good posture. I am going to act as if I am healthy. And you project that through the day in your mind without ever having done it. You'll find yourself doing it all day long, and it's.
So you said something. There's 3 words in there that are key.
Okay.
Act as if.
Okay, there you go.
And that's a huge thing, right? So I know I've called Jack Canfield out numerous times and credited him. He does. That's something he very much believes in. Act as if, and he'll have he talks about having a party, and you basically show up to this party dressed as, acting as you believe you will be in whatever the time frame is. So 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you've got a list of things that you plan to accomplish, and once you accomplish those in your mind, you will have this, act this way, so on and so forth, dress this way, have conversations with people in this way. And so the whole idea is to go to that event, and really what you're doing is exactly what we're talking about, training your brain to think like that. And then the actions will follow, and you'll produce those types of results.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Act as if. One of the ways that I do use it in my life, and I'm far from perfect at it because it's easy to get thrown off. But the last part of the day, the last couple hours of the day before bed, that is what I'm tired because I've been going hard all day long, and my defenses are down. And so that's when especially with food, I will, go back to the cupboard and grab another handful of nuts, or I'll eat some chocolate, or I'll, and all of a sudden.
Sorry, my 12-year-old's coming out, man. Go grab yourself a handful of nuts.
No. Wow. Yeah, that is 12 years old. That's fine. That's you, so I'm good with it.
All right, I apologize.
Oh, no. All right, gummy bears, whatever.
Yeah, grab yourself a handful of gummy bears.
Right. That's not getting better. Is it not getting better?
No, gummy bears are fine.
Right.
I like gummy bears. and they're not, the same joke doesn't apply.
Right. Yeah, well, you could go in other directions with that one. But anyway, my point is, if I don't think about what I'm going to do at the end of the day, if I don't kind of rehearse it, then I can fall off a cliff. And if I'm wanting to eat healthy, I can blow it in an hour. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm tired, I'm cranky, I don't want to be there, I'm hungry, and I just eat chips and popcorn and whatever, all of it, anything that's there, and it ends up, ruining it, whatever kind of progress I made that day toward healthy living.
Right.
And just
and you got to deal with not only the physical fallout of that, the mental fallout, because you're going to punish yourself, and you're not going to feel good about the decision that you made, and just a whole bunch of stuff comes from that. That's not good.
Right. So if I in the morning think about, okay, when I get home and I'm tired and I'm cranky and I'm hungry, then this is how I'm going to behave, and I'm going to do it right, and I'm going to do it well. When that time rolls around, then I'm actually much better at succeeding at that, and it applies to every single area of life. When you get home and from work and you need to spend time with your spouse, how is it that you're going to behave? Are you going to be listened? Are you going to be present? And you think about it and you work through that. How many times do you find yourself in a situation that you didn't expect or that you didn't rehearse ahead of time, and now you're just sort of reacting, and you're sort of drifting,
floundering,
right,
no plan,
right?
Yeah, it's and you're not going to get it right every time, but life's a learning experience,
right?
As far as we know, we haven't done this before. Now there are those, and I might subscribe to the idea that you could have been here before in another life. I think there's evidence of that in some places, but anyways, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But you got to work through it, and you might not get it right the first time. But what will happen is you'll start catching yourself in the moment, and you can make that course correction before anybody else knows that you're about to screw it up.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it.
And that's a beautiful thing to be, because then you're aware enough and self-actualized enough to know, what you want to do and catch yourself in the moment before you're about to take a wrong turn.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. And another area that in my life anyway, I've really realized the incredible importance of, probably within the last 5 years of my life, and that is the importance of habit. There are all kind of good habits that we can have, but they don't happen by accident. And so what is a new habit that you want to establish in your life that you think would be just very good for you for whatever reason? You have a look. Let me finish, and then you can tell me what you're looking.
Thank you. That's a compliment, right? I have a look.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the look was, if it was a smirk or...
No, I was actually thinking about a book that I'm reading right now that talks about that very subject.
Oh, it talks about habits. Okay.
Yep.
So what is a good habit that you want to have? So start rehearsing that you actually are executing that habit well every single day, because as we all know, habits ultimately determine your destiny.
Yeah.
Excellence is not an act. Excellence is a habit. And so you do that small little change, some good habit, day after day after day after day, and a year later you wake up and you think, man, I've come a long way.
Are you enjoying this pipe? Because you're getting as much smoke as I am, if not more.
I know. It's something about the way this fan...
It's drawing it up there, but it's taking it by you first.
It's doing this route.
Yeah.
That's not the first time.
Anyways, so this book that I'm reading, and the title escapes me right now, but ultimately, something that jumped out at me and what really caught my attention was basically the author said that this whole idea that you need to live a disciplined life is bullshit. It's a lie. What you need to do is have the discipline to create habits that will then ultimately replace that discipline, because once it becomes a habit, it's repeatable and so on. So it's not so much, and he also goes into it further and says that these folks out there saying it takes 30 days or 21 days or whatever magic number to create a habit. It's actually much more than that. It's like 60 something days, 66 or something like that.
Okay.
But either way, I mean, I like the idea of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because it's the discipline that gets the fire started. It's not the discipline that keeps the fire burning. It's the habit you create as a result of having the discipline to start down that path and start that fire.
And what I like about that, what you just said is, and this is actually the difference between habit and discipline. Once you have a habit, once you've established it, and you've had the discipline to stick with it for 66 days or whatever, however many days it is, the habit at that point becomes easy. It's not hard,
right? Because
you get into that good mode, and then you just repeat the behavior over and over and over again, and pretty soon you're progressing along at strides that you never thought you could. And I really like the idea of not drifting through your day. A lot of people drift. They're like they'll finish something, or they'll be at their end of their work day, and they'll just sort of be like, wow, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do tonight?
Right. Does your day look like the surface if you were to take this bottle and just let the water hit it?
Yeah.
And that's your plan? You just basically go like that water goes, path of least resistance?
Right, yeah. Right. Yeah. And, so anyway, predetermined thought. And I was going to say something else, and you totally distracted me with your bottle, because I was wondering why you're about ready to pour water onto your board.
Well, I was pretty sure that top was secure, but I came over here away from the board.
Okay, I was like, okay. So here's another part of the mental hack that you can, and this is a habit. All right, this is a habit, and this is a freaking awesome habit, and I know because I'm living it right now. The whole phrase "tomorrow's gone forever." I'm sorry, yesterday's gone forever.
What?
Yeah,
I'm planning on having a tomorrow.
Yesterday's gone forever, and tomorrow never comes. It never is. Tomorrow's always tomorrow.
Right.
So it's never here.
Right.
And that's the world telling you, be in the moment.
Right.
Establish the habit of being, I'm right here with you right now doing this podcast. I'm not worried about what happened earlier today. I'm not worried about what's coming tomorrow. We are here. We're doing this. We're in the moment, and that's what we need to be doing.
Mindfulness.
That's predetermined thought to establish that habit.
Yep.
That mindfulness. Oh my goodness, it's so powerful, and it's a habit.
Yeah, it's like that sign: free beer tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I want that. Yes.
Right.
Wait.
We'll come back tomorrow.
Wait. What? What?
Yeah, exactly.
You read the same sign tomorrow, and it's over. So. Yeah. Anyway, that's. I think that's something that. When you don't walk into situations cold, you stand a much better chance of being successful at it is through this predetermined thought, and it will predict how you're going to behave. And it's a simple concept, but it was worth covering for a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a mindset thing, right? So, I mean, I hearken back to my my law enforcement days and military training, where, the phrase "you're going to fight like you train" is absolutely true, and your subconscious is going to kick in, and that's because of the predetermined thoughts that you've had during your training and the things that you've learned during your training. Those behaviors that have developed and so on, that ultimately become habits. Those things are going to happen instinctually when the shit hits the fan, right? Because you've practiced. You got to make sure that you're practicing, regularly, both mentally and whatever the action is that you need to take. But your subconscious is going to kick in, because it's in the driver's seat. 99% of the time. It happens. I've given that example about, driving to work and or driving through a traffic light and then having that momentary panic. Was that light green?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it was green.
Right.
In most cases.
Right. In most cases, right?
But your subconscious is driving because And I'm not saying this is a good practice, but ultimately your mind might be wandering because you're doing other things or whatever. So that's, it works, teach and your subconscious you're not stuck with what's in there. It's programmable. And, if you have behaviors showing up that you don't like, then you can change those behaviors by replacing them with new thoughts that create new behaviors that will change the outcomes that your subconscious spits out.
For some reason, you just, as you were saying that, you reminded me, and I know you reminded me of Nikola Tesla, the actual guy, not the current car company. Did we talk about this on a podcast, or is that
maybe refresh my memory?
So the thing that he would do, and apparently was incredibly good at it, is when he was trying to develop, the latest piece of equipment that would help him. I think his specialty were electronics and energy, the early days of energy and all the things you could do with it. And AC and DC and not the band, the actual alternating and direct currents and all that. And he would visualize the circuits and the systems that he needed to operate efficiently and effectively. And he would create the entire mechanism in his head. And he would think about the gears, the exact size of the gears, and how things would be fastened and what the size of them would be. And he would mentally construct these entire complex electronic systems in his head, piece by piece by piece, putting it all together and saying, no, this gear needs to be a little bit smaller and this circuit needs to have a bigger gap rather than a smaller gap. And then when it came to actually build it, there were no drawings, there were nothing. It was all in his head.
Damn.
And he would tell the engineers, make it this and this and this, and it worked almost perfectly every single time. First time. Can you imagine? That's predetermined thought right there.
Yeah. And that's using a whole bunch of circuitry up here that, as it turns out, we all have access to. He just chose to use parts of his that some of us just decide to leave dormant, apparently.
Yeah, or don't get in the habit of taking the time to stop and think. Yeah, and one of the tragedies, I believe, of many lives, I'll use the word again, I've used it many times, drift. Just drifting. Am I just drifting through life? Because I got my job, I do my job, I get my paycheck, I come home, and I just kind of do whatever. Watch TV for a while, take the dog for a walk, whatever you do. But there's no real true intention. There's no real drive or purpose. It's just drifting through life. I believe it's...
You're a passenger on somebody else's motorcycle.
Yeah.
You need to be the one driving it.
Yeah, and human beings are capable of so much more than that. Unless that's what you want to do. And that's your predetermination.
Right.
There you go. And that's fine.
Yeah, there are folks that are completely satisfied living that way.
Right.
And in some ways may be happier than folks that are, choosing to do things differently.
Right.
There's a lot to be said for a simple life and, just valuing certain things and making sure that you're living your life consistently and in parallel with those values.
That's it, Brian. That's all I got tonight. Predetermined thought predicts present action, and it really does. And so I want you to go through the rest of the evening and tomorrow and all week and all month and all year exercising this concept, establishing this habit.
I'll do it.
That's my challenge to you. I'm throwing it down.
All right, I'm throwing it right back at you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's a good idea for anybody. Give it a go. I'm not going to say try it, because trying is what? Failing with honor. We actually need a little bit higher standard than that.
Is it failing with honor?
Yeah. We need you to actually do it.
Yeah, okay.
Do it. Don't just try. Do it. Actually accomplish it. Yeah, give it a go. And if you're, if you have some trepidation about it and pick out something that, doesn't have a whole lot of consequence if it doesn't work. And just, give it a test run.
Do or do not. There is no try.
That's right. Who said that? YODA?
YODA. That was my best YODA voice. Was it pretty good?
I think it still had a little too much baritone in it.
Yeah. I thought it kind of sucked.
You want to try again?
No.
Well, I mean,
no.
I've been subjected to your singing,
try.
so
you try.
The Yoda voice was actually kind of a welcome change.
No. Do or do not. There isn't. No, try. It's awful.
Okay, where's the mute button for Kevin's microphone?
No, it's awful. I can't. Not even close. It's not even in the right hemisphere. I'm sure of it. So for those of you who can do Yoda well, I apologize. I didn't mean to do that. I've not ever
He
practiced.
did not mean to insult your abilities.
Exactly. Mine was awful, and I know it.
I think I'm out of flame.
I think you're right.
All right. I enjoyed this topic. I like it. And the one thing I've got to also throw out there, because it just popped in my head, is you can use this in many different ways. And you probably are already using it to your own detriment, and you don't realize it. Here's an example. I was standing in a group of people yesterday, and there was a raffle going on. And I heard somebody say, "I never win anything." And I thought to myself, just to myself, I didn't say it out loud, and there's no fucking chance you're going to win something today either. Because when you keep putting those statements of declaration out there, you're just saying, you're putting it out there to the universe. I don't win anything. Or, I've given this example before. I go to a restaurant. I've heard people say I go to a restaurant and they always screw my food up. Well, what are the chances they're going to get it right? They're not, because you're going there with this predetermined thought and putting that order in to the universe for them to screw it up, because that's what you expect.
Yep. No, that's a great point. We didn't cover it at all until you just brought it up.
That's the flip side of it.
It's the flip side of it, and it can be extremely destructive and damaging to your life. Yeah.
So for those folks that are sitting here thinking that maybe what we were talking about doesn't work, maybe, given those examples where you're actually doing it right now in your life, it's just not having a positive result because you're using it backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. I know of a person who will go unnamed who lived the philosophy, life sucks and then you die. That was the philosophy. And goodness gracious, if that's your philosophy, your life is going to suck. And then you're going to die. And that's going to be that. So
they were a joy to hang out with. Please introduce me.
No.
Just kidding.
Anyway.
I don't need people like that in my life.
Right. I don't
I like people that have a much more positive outlook and live their lives with intention.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Live your life with intention. Perfectly stated. Intend to have predetermined thought. There you go.
Right.
I'm done. I'll shut up.
All right.
All good.
Shall we both shut up?
Yeah.
I'm not shutting up.
All
right.
right.
I'm going to say this. No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, see, I'm out of practice with that button. I haven't had the thing in front of me, that you take time to enjoy the ride.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.